Guess who's going to be on live TV in Chicago? Spotlight Chicago on WGN. I'm going to be making Chinese tomatoes and scrambled eggs. I wonder what I'll do. We're here in Chicago's Chinatown. I'm here with representatives from
Coalition for a Better Chinese American Community.
CBCAC. I don't know how they call it, but I like to say kabakak. Kabakak. That's how I call it. You don't like it?
We just say CBCAC to train people to remember.
CBCAC.
Yeah.
Don't call it kabakak.
You can.
Yeah. So introduce yourself and what you do for CBCAC.
Yeah. I'm Sarah Tang. I'm the director for programs at CBCAC. I oversee all the programs, essentially. Yeah.
I'm Clayton Shu. I'm policy manager and small business manager in CBCAC as well.
Awesome.
I support all the local small business in Chinatown.
So, just generally, why don't you describe what CBCAC does and why you chose to come here to go for food?
Yeah. CBCAC, should I just look at
you can hold it like it's a real mic.
Should I just look at you?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. CBCAC does civic engagement, voter education, and community planning. These are our main pillars of work.
Yeah.
We really work to unite all the resources for the Chinese American community, Chinese American community in Chicago, for sustainability, equity, and long-term viability. Right. So we're looking at what's going to be sustainable in Chinatown when it comes to community planning, and we also believe that anyone, no matter your immigration status or income background, anything like that, should know how to advocate for your needs and what you want to see in your community.
That's right.
That's right.
Yeah. Okay, great. And what I love though is that CBCAC through you've been our sort of main contact, believes in solidarity.
Yes.
You know, and so what I love is that in one of the unique setups for my Good Egg Immigrant Grocery Store stand-up comedy tour, where we partner with local orgs to benefit them, CBCAC wants to make sure that they're helping me produce the show to benefit ICER, which is
the Illinois Coalition for Immigrant Refugee Rights.
Okay, listen, I should memorize these, but
that's okay.
It's great. What I love is that ICIR, ICIRR, they convene a coalition of local organizations to strengthen resources, to work together. And we just actually spoke with someone from the Brighton Park Neighborhood Council who described how, as an anchor for ICIR's rapid response teams, that they've been able to do really good work on the ground. And so this makes me so happy because when I first, in my early 20s, when I first got into this game and I was working in politics, I really was bummed out by a lot of the Asian American community organizations, especially the Chinese or East Asian ones, who never really understood solidarity work.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. I feel like y'all are different, but it makes me so happy now that like I've obviously moved on to entertainment and done other things, that I've been re-engaging with organizations like CBCAC, and to see that you guys have a sense of values and mentality to not just be about Chinese people.
Yes.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Because you don't, obviously Chinatown is special, but you don't live in isolation from the systems and the policies that affect all the Chinese and Chinese American people.
Yes.
And for the longest time, my frustration, which is why I went into the labor movement, was that a lot of these leaders at the time didn't really get that. Nor maybe they didn't feel like they were equipped, right, to like make that kind of coalition building happen.
Yeah.
And so it just makes me really happy that you guys are like super down to do that, and you got it immediately.
Yeah.
Because 100%, my network is a lot of like Chinatown people and like Asian Americans, which I'm so happy that I'm like partnering with a lot of Asian American groups. But early on, I was like, Sarah, I can't just do this like a Chinatown tour. You know what I'm saying?
It's not about that.
Because it's about immigrant rights in general.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to be more expansive. So I'm just really happy that in Chicago you felt like you could, you know, really bring in ICIR and make that work. You know?
It's been the history of like our organizations. We've been around for 28 years.
Oh.
Yeah, so for the first, I think 25 years or 20 years or so, it was a volunteer organization. Our founder, C.W. Chan, was a social worker by trade. He understood about solidarity, how we have to work together, because we're uniquely the only main Asian group in the south side of Chicago.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who's on the north side?
Koreans, Vietnamese, Japanese are in the north side and also in the suburbs.
Okay, and do
the
they have community groups?
Yes, a
Okay,
bunch
great.
of them. Yeah, so shout out to Hana Center on the north side. That's the Korean group. They do a lot of solidarity work really well. We're learning a lot from them.
Yeah.
Vietnamese Association of Illinois in Argyle, which is Little Saigon of Chicago. And then A Fire, which is a Filipino group who is working on immigration as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Listen, as you know, if you listen to this podcast, you know I talk a lot of shit about Koreans. I'm so sorry.
Hana Center is special.
But not all Koreans are bad.
Yeah.
Hashtag not all Koreans.
Yeah.
I just grew up with
They're
Korean.
connected to Wuri Juntos that you
Oh, they're
talked to in
connected to
Houston.
Woody Juntos?
Yeah.
Oh my God, so I love Woody Juntos.
Yes.
But some of our favorite Koreans. The problem is, so just so you know, I talk shit about Koreans because I grew up with a lot of bullies who were Korean. Like bully friends who were Korean American evangelical Christians.
Oh.
So I wasn't even Christian, but I feel like I had like Christian trauma.
Just adjacent.
Just adjacent. Secondhand
The ripple effect is so big.
So I like to joke around and talk shit about Koreans, but I love them.
Yeah.
Also,
Yeah.
I know how to curse and say a lot of words in Korean.
Yeah.
So that makes me happy when I surprise Koreans when I say stuff like "왜 그래?"
하지마.
하지마.
죽을래.
Yes, you gotta say it just like that too, and they're like, "Oh, so accurate." that's how you gotta do it.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So that's what's happening tomorrow night. We're gonna do the Good Egg Immigrant Grocery Store stand-up comedy tour show inside of
Park to Shop.
Park to Shop. And so, can you tell me a little? I'm gonna try to interview the owner or manager there, but tell me why you thought Park to Shop would be a good partner in this.
Yeah, Park to Shop is a beautiful chain of grocery stores that's in and around Chinatown and also in Argyle.
Yeah.
The owner, Gary, is very down with the community. He always comes to our fundraisers.
How old is Gary?
Gary's probably in his 50s. He looks young, but
Okay.
I don't know.
Listen, if you're Asian in your 50s, you look like you're 30.
Yeah, exactly.
We get it.
Yeah. They always keep prices low. They keep prices for the community,
Okay.
so we appreciate that. We know, things are fucking expensive these
Yeah.
days. So Gary always keep things fresh, keep things cheap for the community, and he's a great champion for our work too.
Oh, I love that. Because I feel like if you're a immigrant grocery store owner, you have to be a little more creative or a
Yes.
little more open-minded to be able to say yes to having this random stand-up comedian come inside and do stand-up. How was that process of convincing Gary?
We convinced Gary because we've been, like I said, we've been around for a long time. We've only been around for a couple years, but
Yeah.
there's a lot of aunties and uncles in the community who all know each other, and they're able to wrangle them. Yeah, pull the strings, right?
Yeah.
So they convinced him?
We're not the convincers.
Okay, so who are the aunties and uncles?
Wong Tai.
And
There's a funny story that I called the manager, and the manager, I had to consult my boss, and then Wong Tai just make a call, and then the manager said, oh yeah, I know you. Let's do it.
What's special about Wong Tai?
Wong Tai is fierce. She's worked in a lot of different things. She's worked in the social service agency in Chinatown called Castle. She's also helped with organizing garment factory workers back in the day. She's our main outreach folk. She's always looking for things for seniors to do and come together, and
she on
also learn about the community.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So Wong Tai is on the WeChat groups.
Yeah.
It's all about the WeChat groups.
She's the manager of all the WeChat groups.
Right, to make sure. So, see, when people ask, how are you able to get these grocery stores? And I'm like, I'm not calling these grocery stores. You think I'm the one calling them? They don't know me. And so it doesn't surprise me that it wasn't even the two of you individually. You had to hit up someone like Wong Tai, who knows everyone, to be like, hey, what's up? This is fine. Just do it. And then, right? Because that's usually how it is. Just do it, and then they're like, okay.
Exactly.
If you trust someone, that's what you do, right? So that's why I'm so happy and just grateful for all of these random aunties or people who get it and who are willing to just say this is a good idea.
Yeah.
Is Wong Tai gonna be there?
She wanted to come.
But she
Is that
can't.
okay?
That's all right.
Yeah, I will
She
make
just
sure
wanted
she comes.
to.
She
Well,
wanted
I
to.
don't know. Tell her to come.
She was like, my English is not that good, and I was like, you should come.
Can I speak to her in Mandarin?
Yes.
Or can I meet her somehow?
No, we'll invite her to come tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Listen, I want to meet all the community baddies. Right? I feel like it's all the community baddies that run things. And part of like doing this kind of a tour and to like interview people like you is to also remind others who might not be on the ground working in community organizations that there are people like you who exist, like Wong Tai, like the two of you who are doing the good work. Sometimes you're under-resourced. Maybe that's why we gotta like fundraise for you. But like, I feel like that gives me hope, you know? Other than just like despairing in my little corner, being like, I don't know, I just gotta go to my office job every day. What do I do, you know? And it's like, well, you just support people like you. You could donate, start a little group in your office to fight ICE. I don't know.
Yeah, I think, you know, we need that generation of folks who've been here for a long time. Like I mentioned, we're transplants.
Yeah.
So sometimes we have to work through the long-term residents who understand the importance of civic education.
Yeah.
To get folks introduced to the community, to the organizations like ours, right? That we're trying to talk about issues that's facing the community today. When they get it, they're able to talk to the other folks who are also will start to understand what's going on.
Yeah, because the importance of a nonprofit, a formal nonprofit organization like CVCAC, is that there's a level of American cultural competency that a nonprofit like this has in order to even just set itself up. Right? So at every stage of the community, there needs to be all of these sort of like go-betweens and like bridges that help to like, you know, translate between the monolingual folks as well as the new people and the older generation people. And so it's so vital for someone like a CVCAC to be there who might have language capabilities and in all the languages, right?
Yeah, I feel like I've always been adding like a bridge between like the major sources of like resources, like government or like larger foundations.
Totally.
And then the local community. So we bring this like more Americanized stuff, like values into the community, and the community gives us back with a lot of like rich cultures and how like the connections, just like people like Wong Tai. So it's really good to act in between. This area is like so brilliant. You can see like the different side of the world. So
and you know, Chinatowns don't just happen. There's policies, there's internal organizations that like influence who gets to own property, who gets to build certain businesses. So tell me a little bit about the work you do in working on small businesses. Like, what does that mean and why is that important?
So wow, that's a lot. So I think it's really about relationships a lot of times. Like at first I don't know how to do the work, but like I just like try and just knock on the doors and just go in there and talk to the owners. And then later I started to like build like personal relationships with them, and I started to realize what their challenges are. Like there's a lot of challenges like rents, like some of them say public safety, some of them say like gentrification and you know ICE coming, COVID, and then tariffs as well last year. And then so a lot of things going on, and then with all these relationships I start to like kind of have a whole picture of everything that's going on here. And then we start to find them like resources from like governments or like foundations and see how we can support them. So it's a lot of times I cannot do this like very structurally. It has to start with like one-on-one relationship.
Right, whatever the relationship, what the need is. I love that. And so tell us what happened when there was the intensive ICE raids with, I think it was called
Midway
Blitz. How did that affect the Chinatown businesses?
Oh wow, I always want to like quote one of the store owners. They said there won't be a flourishing Chinatown without the Latino communities and the Black communities, who are like always the patronized businesses here. So at that time there was like a very sharp decrease of their business. And then a lot of people just not willing to go on the streets and buy stuff. And then there's a huge hit there, and then people are feeling very like, they just feel like they don't know what's going on like tomorrow. They don't know what's going to happen next week. So people are just in this panic mode. But we're glad that it's just a shorter period. So,
And so how did the Midway Blitz affect the actual staff of these restaurants?
The staff? I don't think there's a lot of retaining.
They did a lot of safety planning, so we talked to like businesses about, do you have staff that would be vulnerable? How should they get home? How should they come to work?
And so did any of them get picked up?
We know people get picked up. So there were, earlier in May, there was a public detention in front of the Veterans Memorial in Chinatown. And then throughout the Midway Blitz, there were a lot more like check-in pickups, like picking up people at immigration check-ins.
Right,
Yeah.
right, okay.
So I think the businesses, a lot of the people that we talk to, we just talk to them about, you know, what should you do to protect your staff? What are your rights, right? With
Educating.
warrants and stuff like that. And then putting up signage about like not serving people with full face like baklavas. How do you have an emergency plan for your staff going in and out of the restaurant? So we believe most folks were okay. But we spent a lot of time on educating folks about their rights and like emergency planning at that time. But they did talk about it being like compounded with the tariff situation, so they said it was even worse than COVID.
Ooh, the tariffs.
Yeah.
That affected a lot of people, huh?
Yeah.
With the businesses, yeah.
With the businesses, because they source most of their ingredients and like, you know, takeout boxes and stuff, everything from
Overseas?
China. Yeah, you need them to come here. So like their business cannot run without these materials.
What a bummer. I hate this so much. Tell me about the fight against the sports arena. There's a stadium?
There's a stadium coming just north of Chinatown.
Yeah, and by the way, this is a theme across a lot of different Chinatowns and ethnic Asian districts historically in America, because historically a lot of these older Chinese restaurants or Chinese areas were located near the downtowns.
Yes.
Right, near other ethnic groups. Like, so like even in New York, like you'll find that like the Chinatown there is historically overlapping with the Italian neighborhood.
Yes.
So all the previous ethnic neighborhoods historically just started kind of overlapping with each other. And so nowadays, a lot of the downtown real estate is so valuable and it's so centralized. And so on the one hand, a lot of cities appreciate having a Chinatown because it's like a feature for tourists and for like locals to like be able to have something different to like eat and dine and buy trinkets. But they don't respect it enough oftentimes when big money people want to come in for land.
Yes, exactly.
Right? They don't think about that. So tell us about what's happening here.
Yeah, what's happening here is, you know, I was mentioning to you earlier, what's different about this Chinatown is that we moved 100 years ago from downtown.
And why did it move?
It moved because of really right after the Chinese Exclusion Act, there was really like a block downtown. A lot of
1860s.
Yes. 1880s? Yes. Well, like the more vibrant community was there in the 1880s.
Yeah, so mid to late 1800s.
There are laundromats, restaurants, really beautiful restaurants that apparently Al Capone had a table at.
Okay, Al
Something
Capone.
like that.
I'm telling you, Italians and Chinese, okay, a long history.
Yes, which is very interesting. Yeah, so we moved 100 years ago away from downtown.
Yeah.
The old Chinatown downtown now has a jail across the street. So just imagine what the fate would have been like for Chinatown if we stayed there.
And it moved because?
It moved because the founders felt like they were no longer welcome in that area.
Oh, got it.
So
after Chinese exclusion, I see what you mean.
Yeah.
So they're like, let's just go a little bit away from
just
downtown.
go a little bit further.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
But now that downtown has filled out, there's this area called South Loop that's filling out too towards the south end of downtown.
Yeah.
So now they broke ground already on a soccer stadium, Chicago Fire soccer stadium, just north of Chinatown. And it's right next to our beloved Ping Tom Memorial Park. This is
How do you spell that?
Ping Tom, Pingtom.
Okay.
It's named after one of our Chinatown champions in those days who advocated for the park, helped build up the Chinatown Square Plaza. And they're eyeing this land. The park we finally got in the early 2000s after 30 years without a park because of the highway build in 1960s. It decimated our only park in Chinatown. Yeah, so now the stadium is going right north of Chinatown. It's going to be a 22,000 seat soccer stadium.
Is it already happening?
They broke ground. It's being built.
Is there any way to stop it?
We're trying to bring them to the table and really just have a negotiation for the community benefits
around mitigating any
the impact.
Because there's, as you may know, I went to urban planning.
Yes.
Grad school, and so there's all these points of intervention that you can do as like a piece of property is getting developed.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, it sounds like it's happening.
It's
and so now it's more about leveraging the community power and political power to bring them to the table to negotiate a community benefits agreement.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
which is a formal agreement where you can advocate as a community to say, okay, you're going to build it, but is there a percentage of the jobs that are going to go to the local folks?
Right.
Are you going to source some of your vendors from local folks, stuff like that, right?
Yeah, like that. And so the land has been vacant for a long time. It was sold in like 2006, I think, to an international company.
Yeah.
So the tough thing with this stadium build is that the billionaire Joe Mansueto, the owner of the Chicago Fire, said that
Joe what?
Joe Mansueto.
Suego?
Mansueto.
Suedo?
Mansueto. That's one name.
Mansueto.
Mansueto. He's from Indiana.
Ew.
He went to Chicago and has stayed in Chicago this whole time.
Ew, U of Chicago? He probably majored in economics.
Something like that. Finance, I think. He
Oh,
founded
yeah.
a finance company.
Of course.
Called Morningstar.
The University of Chicago Economics Department is notorious for being evil. I'm just saying. Just look it up.
Yeah.
It's the history.
So he's done a lot of like buying up properties throughout the Chicago area. He spent like $10 billion, I think, on acquiring property. So he's like, I'm going to build this myself. It's going to be all privately funded until TIF, tax increment financing. So that was just approved this week. I think today in City Council.
To give him a tax break?
To give him tax subsidy to build like the infrastructure on the site. Yeah. So because, Chicago needs tax dollars, they've been really fast tracking everything. So this plan was announced in June last year, already went through City Council by September last year, within 3 months.
So what's going to happen to the park?
The park will stay there, but the plan is that after the stadium is built, they're going to hopefully find enough investors to build a bunch of luxury high-rises. So it's going to block the parks, the sun coming onto the park, the view of downtown from the park.
Unfortunately, people like dipping into Chinatowns to eat and like enjoy the backdrop, but they forget that real human beings live here, live and work here. And so I feel like oftentimes because Chinatowns are so close to downtowns and green space is scarce, the fact that like you fought so hard to get this part and now it's like the quality of life of the locals will be affected.
Definitely. And property speculation is a huge problem already in Chinatown.
What's that?
Property speculation, just like value and stuff. So we just know, like we walked down Wentworth Avenue earlier, what's called Old Chinatown. A lot of businesses like Wendy's, as they near their like 10-year lease or something like that, they're looking at a huge rent jump, right? Because the value has been speculated for different reasons, but also the stadium is putting that pressure on folks, right? Property owners can now say, look, a stadium is coming to town, it's going right there, so your business is going to be so much more lucrative. But the caution here is that the stadium is not going to have any local businesses in the stadium.
No.
The naming rights has been bought by McDonald's. So it's going to be called McDonald's Park, and they're just going to serve McDonald's in the stadium.
This is so gross. Can you imagine? Like, why would you want to go to Chicago's Chinatown and be like, let's go eat at Sweet Green?
Exactly.
I want to eat at Jimmy John's in Chicago's Chinatown. That's so asinine. I hate it.
Yeah.
Okay, so you want to increase your political leverage so that you can get better benefits for the community.
Yeah.
So that's where we're at. All right, we're going to take a little trip after this to go take a look at the space.
Yes.
We'll go to the park.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
That's good. Is there anything else that you feel like people should know about what's going on in Chinatown or in Chicago when it comes to immigration or just whatever's been happening here?
Yeah, I think really it's just word of mouth. Like we need people to tell your neighbors, tell your friends that there's help out there. Like if you feel like you're vulnerable as an immigrant, we want to help you plan for what might be next for your family.
Right.
To get those things lined up, and we want to help you with your options.
Yeah.
So if you need legal support, if you need mutual aid with losing your income, things like that, being afraid of going to work, we're here to support. So tell your neighbors, tell your friends. Please.
CDCAC. Akabakak. That's me. Don't say that. Akabakak. It's just fun to say.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Cheers. Yay. 谢谢大家。哎呦，谢谢大家。两手客气一点嘛。哎呦。Okay, so I know we already introduced y'all, but just in case, let's all go around and just say like who we are and why we're here. Why do you exist? Why you like this? I would love that. Can you say who you are, what you do here, and why are you like this? Just answer it as briefly as possible. Okay, let's have you go first.
I hope Brandon goes first.
Yeah, Brandon.
Brandon, you go first.
Hi, my name is Brandon Lee. I'm Communications Director at the Illinois Coalition for Immigrant Refugee Rights. I am like this because at this point it's just in my veins.
Wow. Okay, that's deep. Mm-hmm. Who's next?
Yeah, sure. Annie Humani with Brighton Park Neighborhood Council. I am like this because I am an immigrant myself, so want to be in the work.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Vero Castro, or Veronica Castro, with the Illinois Coalition for Immigrant and Refugee Rights. I'm the Executive Deputy Director. I am like this and I'm in this work because I care about justice and my family and my community. And I will never let anybody be taken without a fight.
All right. Now it's your turn.
Now it's my turn. My name is Karina Martinez. I'm the Communications Coordinator at Brighton Park Neighborhood Council, and I'm like this because that's just my way my brain works.
Oh, okay. How does your brain work? All right. Well, I'm Jenny Yang, and I don't know. I'm doing a Good Egg Immigrant Grocery Store stand-up comedy tour to connect with people like you and feel more hope and not be in despair, and to hopefully make everyone laugh. So I hope you all will be there at the show.
Yeah, a few of us will be.
Okay, good. Yeah. Okay, good. We are here at the Brighton Park Neighborhood Council, which is a nonprofit based out of this area. And my understanding is that this is a very hard-hit area when the Midway Blitz happened with ICE in Chicago not too long ago. So can you kind of tell me, just from the beginning, what is it that you do as a neighborhood council, and also how did you respond to what was happening?
Yeah, I can go a little bit into it. Brighton Park Neighborhood Council has been in the area since 1997. We do a lot of services, all around services, direct services, whether that's support for the community with electricity bills, CETA. We also provide mental health services through different community schools, through different case management, as well as direct case management to different families. We actually had a rapid response team when Trump was first in presidency. Oh,
yeah. Fantastic. Hey, you don't have to get ready.
If
you stay ready, come on.
Right, that's it.
So we saw the need once we knew Trump was going to be back in office.
Yeah.
We actually got contacted by ICER. We are a member organization of their coalition.
Right.
And they hit us up and we said, hell yeah, let's be anchor orgs. And we started up what's now branded as the Southwest Rapid Response Team. Started off basically staff here volunteering their time, and we slowly brought community members, became community leaders. Some of them do co-lead the Southwest Rapid Response Team. Yeah. But our team has grown to over 100 people in the past almost year or so. And this is just the Southwest. This is not the whole network.
Amazing.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
The Southwest is like more than just Brighton Park. So we cover McKinley Park, Archer Heights, Marquette Park, West Lawn, everything kind of Southwest.
Okay. And so why do you think ICE targeted this neighborhood? Like, what is it about this neighborhood that made it a rich target for them?
I mean, just by the way we look, right? It's a very high immigrant community. We have a lot of immigrant. We also, Brighton Park, welcomed a lot of new neighbors when the caravans were happening from Venezuela, Colombia, South America that were happening. We actually were one of the first organizations to support families that were first starting to come in from Texas, if you all remember, back in 2022.
Yeah.
So we believe, right, we have a lot of street vendors, we have a lot of tamale vendors, there's just a lot of people, and we have a Home Depot as well here in the area. So it's just, we feel like it just became an easy target for people to, for the federal agents to target and just try to take over our neighborhoods, but we tried our best to not let them.
Yeah, and what was the best way that y'all responded? You were going to say something?
I was just going to add to what Auntie said, which is that we know that this administration is trying to strike into the heart of where our people live in order to intimidate and cause fear, and to hopefully just keep people submissive. And so they came into the heart of one of our most densely populated immigrant enclaves in the city.
Yeah. And so give me examples of how the Brighton Park Neighborhood Council responded, like concrete things that y'all did to help with what was happening.
You all want to talk about that first day? Because
first day.
It was the first day of Midway Blitz. That's where this happened.
Yeah. So the first day of Midway Blitz, we had just met as a rapid response team, just a general strategizing, talking, getting to know each other, because again, these are new community members that are coming into this space. Mind you, these community members probably never had a political home or any kind of organization, so these are brand new members that we could say. We had just finished our meeting and we heard that there had been an abduction on Pulaski and Archer, which is down the street from here.
Yeah.
And it was our neighborhood flower vendor had been taken on a Sunday afternoon.
Yeah.
Prior to that, earlier in the day, 3 people had already been taken, a little bit more south of here. I think that's when we realized we need to get on the ground even more now. We had already been letting people know that we were in the neighborhood since January, since the president went into office. We had already done the outreach. Community members knew where we were, how to find us. But I think once Midway Blitz started, that's when things went downhill, and we were seeing neighbors getting abducted to the point that they were getting snatched from one block to the other within seconds.
Oh, and at that point, I don't know what month it was, but what other cities had you been seeing news about the ICE activity at that point?
Yeah. Do you want to go?
So the only city that we had really seen the activity that in such a large scale was everything that had happened in LA.
Okay, so this was after June then. I see. I'm trying to remember the order of.
What was that date?
September.
September.
Early September.
Yeah, it was September.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, because in the period of time before then, you know, there was a lot of local news reporting and a lot of rumors about them using ICE using one of the local military bases to stage.
Yeah.
And so we knew that an escalation could be possible.
So we stayed. We had been hearing about escalation and potential action coming here. We had seen what happened in LA and then DC, and the way that things had been evolving over time. And as Auntie mentioned, we were already ready with an infrastructure around rapid response teams given the last administration, and it was critical at that point in order for us to really create a culture of documentation and taking action. And so we had been preparing for months leading up to September, and it was like this constant wait and see that we were like on the edge and not really knowing what it was going to look like, what was going to happen. And so when that day happened, it felt like that really just triggered like the okay, we're in it. And we saw the same group of roving agents going straight down a main thoroughfare. It was along Archer, right? It was along Archer where they were stopping and picking people up. And so at that point, we had also seen some action earlier, and we had seen some folks be arrested that were doing rapid response work or documentation work. And so we knew that this is the moment we have to take action, and that's when you started to see everybody mobilizing. And from that moment on, every single day, almost all day long, we were receiving tips coming into our hotline, people calling saying people had been taken, and just like an immense amount of need in the community and fear that we were trying to handle and work through. And that stayed for months. We just had months of an onslaught of having to stay ready, be ready to go, and start to respond.
So what were the specific things that y'all did to make people less fearful or to handle any of the kidnappings that were happening?
I think for us, a lot of the things that we did was connect with families directly after an abduction. So I know with BPNC specifically, we'll connect them to a case manager. So what are your immediate needs that you need? A lot of the needs that we saw were food insecurity. People would have no food in their fridge for days, and they would not even be willing to leave their house to go to get groceries, the most basic necessities. And so we did a lot of grocery drives and home deliveries. I think we're doing at least like 500 families within like a month or two, making sure that they had food and they were stocked for weeks. And then they were making sure that their children, if they had children, had people to take them to school, people to pick them up from school, that they had emergency plans that ICE created. We made sure that they had those filled out with, if I were abducted, here's what I want to happen. If I have a child, here's what I want to happen with my house, here's what I want to happen with my car. And we made sure that all of those emergency plans were set and ready for people.
Oh, wow, okay. And so what's going on right now in terms of ICE activity? I know the initial blitz was probably very dramatic, you know, and I'm also sure that there's still the consequences that you all are dealing with right now. But like, what's the current level of activity and how is ICE moving these days?
We have seen a significant escalation just in the last couple of weeks alone. And we have seen, and just nationally, 3 people have been killed, you know, within the last few days, right, at ICE's hands. And so that also provides gives more fear and really instills a lot of that uncertainty in our community about what's going to happen here. And ICE is moving differently than they did around Midway Blitz. where before they were making a show and they were like videotaping it, getting it up themselves, wanting and really boasting about it. Now, same level of cruelty, if not more, but really just like going into targeted spaces and trying to minimize what comes out, because we all learned under last year that it is who sets the narrative right afterward that becomes incredibly important in terms of telling the truth. And so what we saw was that ICE was constantly lying immediately, and without our documentation and first-hand accounts, we wouldn't have been able to push back and fight back as fiercely against the lies that they were spreading, in order for us to be able to then also inform our community on how they should do it, right? And I just want to point out that rapid response work is not only what's happening in the moment, it is how we're preparing people with understanding what their rights are ahead of time, canvassing the neighborhoods, letting them know what signals to look for, how to find out accurate information so that they're not subjected to inaccurate information, that spreading of misinformation. And then also preparing themselves, as Scotty said, with having plans in place, because so much of the fear and the unknown is in the unknown and the uncertainty of what is going to happen if I leave. And what we're seeing is that it's usually the head of household or the person that is, working for the household that is taken, and
they're the ones out. They're the ones out and about.
Because they were looking for people early in the mornings on their way to work. They were going around schools, around pickup to drop off time, pickup times. They were really targeting families and people that were on their way to work, and we were not seeing what they were saying, which is that they were targeting people with criminal histories or anything like that.
100% no. What I find really funny, not haha, but interesting, is that like the power of documentation is not sexy. Like documentation, when you're like, okay guys, we're gonna have a meeting, this is how you document, like straight up, like so much of community organizing is like kind of boring. I mean, not to be like that, but you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, you know what I'm saying? It's like nerdy. It's like nerdy. You're like, yo, we're gonna document everything. You gotta observe. Like, who fucking talks like that? You know what I mean? Like,
We're archiving upstairs.
exactly. You know what I'm saying? Like, but it's so important because this is the power of documentation. Just these last 2 days, we saw them blink. We saw them flinch because remember that we were just saying they said, oh, we're temporarily going to stop traffic stops. Right. And then of course, like you were saying earlier in the car, Brandon, like, and then Trump said on Truth Social, no, actually, it's really important for us to like get people in traffic stops. But the fact that someone felt the need to take the pressure off a little bit by just throwing that out there to be like, oh yeah, we're going to temporarily stop it because people were being so upset because people were documenting. You know what I'm saying? That's when power flinched. You know what I'm saying? They're like, oh.
And people are paying attention to that documentation and willing to take action.
Exactly. And I feel like we've been learning. And this is me trying to find hope because trust me, every day it's like tears. But, I feel like I'm trying to like recognize when the systems and power things and whatever feel so big. It's like even just a little thing like that, it makes me giggle. And I'm like, oh, let me just enjoy this. You know what I'm saying?
And I think like, what to me it's like when hearing about like the growth of the Southwest team is like that is my hope. Like
the Southwest team
like
here.
That is where like that is like that multiplied by all the neighborhoods, that multiplied by all the suburbs where there are rapid response teams. It's like as more people, as more people become aware of what ICE is doing neighborhood by neighborhood, more people want to get involved and more people want to take action. More people want to share the Know Your Rights information and share the hotline and get involved with the rapid response team, and like that growth, that bringing people in, people taking action, like that is really the hopeful moment.
If I could add numbers to that. So when we're talking about growth, we grew to over 35 teams throughout the Chicago suburbs and even some as far away as Champaign, Bourbonnais, outside Rockford. And those 35 teams can represent anywhere from a few dozen to hundreds of people that are part of them. And we run a coordinated but decentralized model. So we centralize trainings, we centralize information, and then folks really are autonomous, or a mix of autonomous and member organizations that are working together locally to provide that response. And what we saw during Midway Blitz, because one of the things that ICER does is we have a hotline where you can call, and you call it whether you see ICE in your neighborhood to let us know and it activates the rapid response teams, or you call it because you have a loved one or you yourself are in deportation proceedings and you need support, and they'll walk you through it, right? That hotline used to get 2 years ago 10,000 calls a year.
Wow.
In the midst of some of the heightened parts of what we were seeing, we were getting over 1,200 calls a single day.
Yeah.
That's how, then we had to really grow the entire infrastructure in order to really be able to respond to that.
Yeah.
And then we had Know Your Rights trainings, and we had trainings for how to become part of a rapid response team. We saw up to 1,000 people joining some of those trainings virtually on some nights because of the amount of people that were just looking for how can they plug in, how can they take action, because they saw what was happening online, they saw what was happening on TV, and they knew that they had to do something.
There's so much beauty in like people wanting to take care of each other.
I know, you're gonna make me cry. I cry every time. Every time I do these interviews, I tear up. Okay.
I was saying, some of our people in our rapid response team, we met them on the ground when they saw things happening on the next block over, and they came to and they came to like check it out, and they're like, hey, how can I get involved?
Yeah.
And I think with everything with Operation Whip Blitz has really impacted is people who are scared to go outside. One of the things we do at BPNC is host summer block parties, and that's something we really wanted to bring back into the neighborhood, to bring joy and to bring fun and to bring love into the community that has felt so much heaviness.
Yeah.
And with the rapid response team, we're able to have Migra watch surrounding the block party, so people feel safe to be able to come to this, knowing that we have a plan in place. So if the ICE comes here, we're able to make sure that people are safe, and we have a plan ready to go, and people who are willing to just make sure that we still have fun in the community and people are able to enjoy themselves.
That's awesome. So you've built so much trust with the community that they know that they can show up to the block party because you set up a Migra watch.
Yes.
That's awesome. Just like a little patrol on the outside.
Yeah.
Like, it's okay to play. Yeah. Oh, that's awesome.
And we did it around parades. We did it around festivals. We do it around school events. And then you could reach out to them and just like having. And when we say that it is volunteers, these are mothers, fathers, grandparents. These are community members like that are just wanting to do something, right? And the documentation piece could not have come in more important than what we saw under the first Trump administration. I was wondering if you want to talk about Casanova.
During the first Trump administration, ICER, Organized Communities Against Deportations, one of our partner organizations, as well as some of our legal partners at National Legal Justice Center and ACLU. We won a consent decree that said, we were able to provide the documentation that ICE was breaking the law. Yeah. And then that consent decree set the tone and really was one of the main avenues towards getting people out of detention in this Trump administration.
Right.
So, it's the long fight.
Yeah.
Right?
It's the unsexy word.
Yeah.
It is.
And that is something that happens over time. And that's something that you organize for and win that pays dividends down the line.
Totally. I love the joke about rapid response teams forming so quickly. Not that it's not also still brave and courageous and hard work, but that there's just aunties and uncles and tias and grandmas who are just waiting.
Yep.
The ones who watch the streets, who love looking out the window and watching the streets and and fucking doing the chismes.
Yeah. And now they have somewhere to call.
Exactly.
They're like,
let's go.
We got you.
No, I love that joke because it's kind of real and it's also beautiful, and it's that's how you truly build off the assets of a community.
Yeah. No, it's that neighborhood watch, right? It really taps into
for good. For good.
And it's also right. No, it's an immigrant neighborhood watch. And it really feeds into the value of what we have seen over and over again, which is we keep us safe.
Yes.
Right. A lot of our training was actually based out of some Black-led organizations sharing with us their methods of doing cop watch and creating a curriculum that was based off of that. Because
let's shout that out. Who are the organizations?
Do you
remember the names of the Black-led orgs?
It was Asada's Daughters and BYP 100 maybe. Yeah.
Shout out to Asada's Daughters and BYP 100.
And they did that previously with OCAD, and that's how we then created the first iteration of the Organized Communities Against Deportation organization.
Great. Okay.
And that was under the first Trump administration where a lot of that work had happened, and so we've been building off of that, right? Like none of what we're doing is new. This fight has been ongoing and has been affecting the Black community for a very long time, and it's a systemic issue, right? And so like this moment is giving even more growth to who is going to be joining and fighting against it. And because we're not here just for right now, we're growing for the long term, right? And as this administration continues to try to dehumanize our people, we're trying to bring back the humanity of what it means to care for one another, right?
Yes. Snaps. Okay, so let's wrap it up with this. How are you taking care of yourselves?
Well, I kind of just wanted to add, I think, right?
Are you going to avoid the question?
Yes. I think just kind of going off with like what Vero was saying, this has also built an opportunity for community members to get involved beyond just rapid response. And understanding, we're here in Chicago, we're coming up with our municipal elections soon. And folks are trying to get really like, they're agitated by the way that some elected officials have responded or not even said anything here in the Southwest around immigration enforcement. So we're also
they're noticing
a little preview. We're wrapping up our rapid response team to making sure that how do we move these community members to get people that are not on our side out of office.
Okay, that's nice, but how are you taking care of yourself?
Oh goodness, I'm running. I run.
You run?
I'm training for a marathon, so that was my gateway. So just run.
Okay. Good. How about you?
I take breaks. I you know, it's been really important because we have seen over the years of what a toll this takes on everybody, and so I ensure that our team really centers themselves too in their needs. And so if people need breaks, they should take them, and I really feel strongly that I have to model that, and as hard as that can be, right? But there are these like such intense moments that we also need to learn how to step away and give ourselves a little bit of time to recharge.
How about you, Brandon?
I'm gonna take a little bit of time off coming up, so I'm gonna try to.
What are you gonna do?
I'm gonna try to log off. I'm trying to travel a little bit. I'm trying to watch some baseball games.
Ooh.
Pick up Magic the Gathering again.
Ooh, Magic the Gathering.
The things that I put off.
The things that make you feel human. I feel like that's what I call it. It's like, what are the things that make me feel like a human being?
Exactly.
What are you doing?
Oh my God! Thank you for asking. I'm doing this. Weirdly enough, this makes me feel like I'm a human being, and being able to like do my stand-up. I'm gonna record my first stand-up comedy special in September, and this tour. Thank you. And this tour is the sort of build-up to that, to like work out the material. So, and it's my way of finally articulating, telling the stories of my life, mostly in the last 5-6 years. And a lot of it has to do with being an immigrant and growing up a good, quote unquote, good immigrant kid, and going through a fertility journey that was all failure. But hopefully when I talk about it, people relate, So that's what's happening.
So you're taking care of yourself by doing more work.
Oh, I mean,
Right in.
100%. Well, I don't know if you know this, but I used to work in politics and community stuff, so I know exactly who you are. You can't wriggle your way out of this. I know exactly who you are. All right. Thank you so much. I'm so happy that I got to meet you all. This is exactly what I wanted to know about. This is exactly what I want people who follow me to know about. Like, these are the baddies doing the work. These are the baddies doing the work. Look at your camera. Look, this is your camera. Look at the baddies doing the work. I mean, we could call you a baddie too, Brandon.
Baddie Brandon.
Baddie Brandon. That's your camera right there. Thank you. Okay, bye.
Thank you.
That's my show, you guys. My name is Jenny. Thank you so much.